Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. Sorry, I'm running 2 minutes late. Running from dropping off the cowgirl. The cowgirl's my mom. I got her a red, white, and blue cowboy hat. And so I had to stop and take an extra minute as I was leaving her house to take a picture because she looks so cute. Anyway, we are happy to be here talking about LifeWave, and this is a business building meeting. So now listen, this is our first official week that we are only having meetings now on Sunday nights and Thursday nights, okay? And now our schedule is kind of wild because we're going to be over in Switzerland and Lyon, France, and the Amalfi Coast in the next 16, 17 days. So we are going to make this thing work. I actually had a thought today where if I am with David Schmidt, because we're going to be with David Schmidt a lot, I may actually, instead of doing one of these Zoom meetings, I may actually record David Schmidt and just a whole scenario, which would be worth gold, right? Anything that David says, he's actually going to be giving us some keys to the kingdom. And what that means is, he said on his last email to me, Renita, I've discovered more codes in the Bible that are linked to healing and vitality and age reversal. So excited to hear about those codes. I can't wait to sit with them and visit with him and Christina. So it'll be wonderful. All right. I want to be very specific tonight. I don't have any makeup on. Can you guys tell? I put some lipstick on in the car on the way home from my mom's because I was like, okay, I need something. I used to have a friend and she said that, who was it? Was her name Jaja Gabor? She said that when you put lipstick on, lipstick was energy. So I'll take it. So I thought I'll put some energy on. All right. I'm not sure if that's true or false. If she just made that up for marketing purposes, but it sounds good to me. Anyway, excited to share with you guys some things. I've really been diving in deep to some new ways that we can push our message out. And I mean, of course, you guys know Sellergize is launched tomorrow, right? Sellergize is launched tomorrow. How many of you know that? And if you don't know what Sellergize is, you're about to get excited about this. I mean, it tastes like the perfect combination of lemonade and iced tea mixed together. My boys always order that when they go to the restaurants. There's a name for that. What's that called? You guys know what that's called, right? When you go out to eat, what's that called?
Arnold
Half-ice
Palmer.
Arnold Palmer. Oh, you guys know it. I can't even remember Arnold Palmer. Yeah. So it tastes like an Arnold Palmer if you've never drank the Sellergize yet, but that's going to be officially launched tomorrow. I don't think they're going to sell out. I would hate that they would launch it if they're going to sell out, but they may sell out. So make sure that you're in there early and you order 1 or 2 or 17 jars, whatever fits your fancy. I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to start actually giving people a bottle of water with a shot of that when I patch them. Do you know why? Because I am learning so much more about healing as voltage, which I want to share with you all tonight. Powerful information. Okay, so how many of you know we're not going to get deep into the comp plan because we're having a massive comp plan change on sometime, I hope it's in the next 30 to 45 days. Okay, how many of you were on the Saturday training that we did down last week? Saturday training. And here's the thing. When you say, oh my gosh, Renita, there is no way I can go explain that to everybody. Well, welcome to my world, because I'm not going to go explain all those ways of earning to people. Steve Merritt has put together an incredible, I should say Steve and Scott Brannon. Give my husband some kudos on that too, because Steve really relied a lot on Scott, because Scott's a money man. Scott Brannon, Steve Merritt, Andy, I know contributed, probably Danny McDaniel. So anyway, they have this 1-page flyer where within 3 weeks, you can earn up to $3,100 for a brand new brand partner. So I am literally going to take that thing and it's going to be like a connect the dot thing. Do you guys remember the connect the dots? A to B, B to C, C to D. So I'm going to teach people how to do that simplified system hot out of the gates to earn $3,100 within 3 weeks. I don't know if that gets you excited, but most people in network marketing are not making $3,100 in 3 months. Okay, so to do that in 3 weeks is going to be a real godsend for a lot of people that are joining our organization. So what I'm going to do is not explain all these glorious 9 ways of earning, and they are fabulous, and it's more money, and it's incredible, right? I mean, as if LifeWave couldn't get any more incredible, it gets more incredible with the comp plan, right? They're paying us more money. But what I like is simplicity. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that one-page flyer that Steve Merritt has shown us. I'm thinking, do I have it laying on my table? I think I do. Where it's within 3 weeks, and I can take a screenshot of that so you guys can see it. But again, I don't like to really pull the trigger big and bad on anything until it's launched. It doesn't pay to inundate your mind with all of this stuff right now if that's not what we're talking about when we're sponsoring people. I've done 5 business overviews with individuals in the last week. I've not talked anything about the new compensation plan other than that there is going to be an upgrade happening in the future. I show people how to make money now. That's what I do. So if you guys are wondering, what are you doing? I'm showing them how to make money now. Okay. Are you guys all in agreement with me on that? Why clutter their mind with something that hasn't arrived yet? You guys get what I'm saying? Keep it simple. All right. Next thing I want to share with you, I'm really, really excited about something because I feel like we really have the keys. Yeah, they can earn $3,100, but it's not the new comp plan, Paula. We can't lay the new comp plan down on the old comp plan. So they can earn $3,100. The first month in the business, we earned $68,000. And I'm not making income claims. I'm just telling you what we earned because we went to work. So you can make a little bit of money or a lot of money depending on how you get after it, right? When you launch your business. So they can make way more than $3,100 if they want to. The plan with Steve Merritt that he's putting out, that simplified way of explaining it, is going to be doing, I'll just be honest, it wasn't doing what I was doing. I mean, you're kind of doing the bare bones and you're making really amazing income. And so that new comp plan, again, you can't fast forward it. There's just no way of doing it. And I'm not stalemating. I think we enrolled 5 people this week. I'm not stalemating. I never hold back enrollments. Never hold back enrollments. Let me say that again. Never hold back enrollments. What are you doing? Like, that's crazy. Don't do that. You know why? You want all those people in the business because then when the new comp plan is launched, if you're appropriately teaching them build right and left, 2020 vision, and you want leaders on both sides, they're going to get a huge pay raise when that comp plan is launched, right? Okay, that's the truth. They're going to get a huge pay raise. Those that are building correctly are about to get a pay raise. In addition to that, for those of you that are in the business already, when you get people in now, and when the trip incentive is announced in July, it's coming up here in July, I hope to find out where the trip is at like tomorrow. When I hit the ground down in, over in the other countries, I'm going to get inside people's minds. I'm going to say, tell me where that trip's at. Because I want you guys to know, because it's a big promotional thing, right, guys? We literally go trip to trip, event to event. And so if you guys know where the next trip's at, it's a lot of fun to set those goals. But if you've got people already involved, then when that trip incentive is launched, what are we doing at that point? Upgrading, right? We teach people how to upgrade. So if you've never done that or you've never ran for a trip, ask Sherry McCants. I told her, hey, when are you going to do your upgrade? She spent one Sunday upgrading and she won the trip on a Sunday in one day. Like, it took one day to win the trip for Sherry McCants. So that's how easy it is. So if you have an established team, it's going to be much easier to run for it. But again, it's more money. It's more ways of earning. It's going to be faster for people out of the gates to continue earning. Imagine a brand new person getting in and not just getting paid that PIB of $35, $75, or $405. Imagine someone getting in and getting paid $25 a week for the next 8 weeks on top of their PIB, right? Think about this. So it's going to be very much more rock solid income so that people will stick around because they're like, wow, this is crazy. I would never quit this. I'm making money. In addition to that, when people do that, you're getting $12.50 because they're getting 25 bucks a week. So you're actually making money on helping your team go manager and director and beyond. Now, there are different ranks. There's 12 different ranks now coming up. But again, I'm still talking at this point, manager, director, senior director, executive director. That's what's in my language bank right now. Again, confused people do nothing. So I would not confuse them. Hopefully in fact, I wish they would have not told everybody about the new comp plan change until the day before it happened. Because I can handle it. Like, I can handle you telling me something. I can keep it in here and keep doing what we're doing, right? Because I'm not going to confuse my team. But some people, they can't handle it. They hear all that and they're like, oh, my new person wants it. Well, they're not getting it. They're not getting it. They're not getting it until it's launched company-wide. And hopefully it was originally going to be I'll be honest, it was originally going to be like July 3rd, 1 month from the email. And now they say it might be a 15-day delay after that. So I'm thinking between July 3rd and like the 16th, somewhere in there is when the new comp plan is going to be launched. I wish it was tomorrow too, because it's fresh in everybody's mind after the training last weekend. Okay, on to other things. Any questions about comp plan? And again, if you're brand new here and you've not watched a comp plan video, I have the great 11-minute, 12-minute, and 21-minute video. I copy, paste, duplicate, copy, paste, duplicate. That's all I teach my team to do. I teach them to go to this is it info and this is it team. So if you're dealing with smaller, let's say I'm dealing with a person who's sponsoring kind of slower. Like maybe they're going to sponsor 4 people this month, right? It's good to use the 11, the 12, and the 21-minute video. Now, if you're talking to somebody who has 10,000 influencers, and that's going to be way too slow for them, you can give them the 11, 12, 21, but you also should make them note that this is it info and this is it team, because that's going to occupy and educate their people if they're bringing them in droves. You guys get what I'm saying? You're not going to be able to get on a phone call with every single person if you sponsor somebody who is a massive enroller, right? I mean, Steve never got on the phone once with me. When I started, Steve and Gina Merritt never got on the phone with any of my signups on a Zoom meeting one time. In fact, and I love Steve and Gina, but I would actually say, Steve, what's the answer? I said, here's my question. And then Steve would text me back, that's a great question. That was his answer. That's a great question. Oh, Steve, you're killing me. All right. So the bottom line is we kind of had to go to work to educate ourselves. And I'll tell you what, it makes you become great leaders. If you got a sponsor like that, thank them, because it makes you become a great leader, because you're not, you're not hanging, you're not waiting to be weaned from the teat. You know what I'm saying? If you understand milk cows, like you don't got to sit there and wait. If I would have waited for Steve Merritt to get back to me on the correct answers, we may not have ran it to the top in 66 days. Instead, I just went to work finding the answers myself, because I'm like, he's too busy. He's got too many irons in the fire. So I encourage you guys, if you've not been to This Is It Info, This Is It Team, those are gold to those of you that are just starting, and the 11, 12, and 21-minute video. Okay. Hey, does anyone have those 11, 12, 21-minute videos like right at the top of their hand right there where they can copy and paste it in the chat for those new people? Because I want to get to what I want to get to tonight. Okay. Yeah, Robin Yamamoto, straight from Minnesota. She's a Minnesotan now. She's a neighbor. Robin, you're a neighbor to North Dakota. I'm going to have to run over and see you and hug you.
So fun. So fun.
Yes, here you are in the Midwest. We get a lot of smoke here. Okay.
Oh,
I'm excited to be traveling.
I brought the rain. We even had a tornado siren the other day. I brought rain.
Oh, that's good. She brings the water. That's purifying. That's good stuff. We'll take it. I love it. I love it. Awesome. So Robin's going to post in the comments the 11, 12, 21-minute video. Take your cursor, drag over top that, so you got that right at your convenience. Okay. I want to talk to you for a second about what David said to me 2 years ago. So he said, Renita, have you read this book, Healing is Voltage? And at the time I hadn't. And so I bought the book. Anything if David says, read this, I just go read it. Because I'm like, there's got to be something great in there. And so when I read Healing is Voltage, you guys, this book, I'm just going to sum it up. I'm going to sum it up for you guys if you don't want to read it. Although it's like a textbook for my homeschool curriculum. This should be taught to every child in the school system. We'd actually have healthy kids then. Okay. Healing is voltage. So let me tell you what it says. It says that the number one way that we actually heal is through electricity. We are electromagnetic beings. How many of you guys know that? Now, we're not trained this, but in the book, he talks about 2000 years ago, there was a gentleman, and that gentleman actually would heal people of migraine headaches with electric eels. Have you guys ever heard of that? You know what electric eels are? Those things that go around and you're not supposed to touch them in the water. Well, this doctor 2000 years ago would use electric eels to get people well from their migraines. How wild is that? Tell me, is electricity important? The early 1900s, they removed electricity from the medical circa curriculum, right? They made it like if you talked about electricity, you were some weirdo. They made it all, what was the word they made it? They took out electrical and what did they make it? Who knows the word?
Chemical.
Chemical. Whoever said that, you're right on the money. They made it all chemical. We're talking everything. Like, right, that's why the advent of drugs, big pharma, a pill to match this symptom, right? And in fact, they not only did they make it all chemical, they poo-pooed and made it like electrical was like witchcraft or something, right? Which we know is completely insanity, because when you die and your heart stops beating, if they don't just throw potassium on you, I don't just dump electrolytes on someone that just had a heart attack and is laying there flatlined. Can you imagine? Let me get him back to life and dump some electrolytes on him. What do, guys? Remember? Flatliners, Julia Roberts, Cano Reeves. Boom, flatlined him. Boom, boom. Jumpstart their heart. That is how electrical we are. We can literally bring someone back to life with electricity. Do you guys think this is kind of a big deal that they made it like it was stupid? Like, can you imagine if they actually told us the truth? So this guy, Dr. Jerry Tennant, his name is, he was an ophthalmologist, MD, amazing, amazing, amazing. And the crazy thing is, when I first read this book, I mean, it gets pretty wild, because we're either electron stealers or electron donors, right? And so remember, you guys know about pH, right? Maybe you've heard of pH 0 to 14. Well, with our millivolts of our body, we're supposed to be a negative 25. Okay. If you get to negative 50, you actually can heal your body of most any disease. Did you guys know that? When you get to negative 50, most people should be at negative 25. But you know that everything that we do pulls us closer to zero. So when you guys know that when you have one surgery, they put you under and you go from negative 25 millivolts to zero during surgery. Do you know that's why some people don't come out of surgery? You've heard that before, right? So negative 25. So imagine the scale looking like this. Is Debbie Martin watching this? I hope she is. Debbie Martin, I need a graph that says this. So like a scale like this, down here is negative 25 millivolts. Down lower yet is negative 50. That's where you can heal of any disease in the body. But the closer you get toward that zero, the sicker you get. A 30 to the positive is cancer in the body. Okay, you guys getting this? Are you understanding? Imagine this. Yep, plus 30 is cancer. Okay, so you want to be on the negative 25, negative 50. You want to be on the negative. But what happens is every medication we take, every chemical, every emotion, every toxic emotion you're hanging on to affects the electrical flow of the body, because emotions are stored in tissues. This is amazing what I'm telling you, okay? And the reason I'm telling you is because in this book, it's so cool, because he actually says in here, you know how David just created Salergize, and my container of Salergize is over at Mama Pearl's, so I don't even have it to show you. But potassium, like, is negative 2.99. So in the book, he tells you magnesium is negative 2.7. Sodium is negative 2.87. Sodium, potassium, magnesium, these electrolytes. Why do people get healthier when they take in electrolytes? It literally helps to regain them on the millivolts, on the, like the negative, gets them closer to negative 25. You guys understanding that? And the other thing that happened when I read this book, it was so crazy. I ear tagged it. Let me show it to you. And then I'm going to get a little flip chart that Debbie made for me. Debbie Martin is the queen of AI. Debbie, I registered for a $30 AI course. I lasted 5 minutes. I'm like, oh, gotta get myself plugged into this stuff here, guys. Okay, so what happens is on this thing, in this thing, it's so wild. So when they told you, oh, all the Christians said, oh, acupuncture is devil's playground. Are you kidding me? It's the electrical circuitry of the body. And in the early 1900s, they tried to eliminate all homeopathy, frequency medicine, all naturopathy, right? Anything that was outside of a chemical. Remember, they were trying to get you hooked on the chemicals because they told you you were a chemical being. And I said this just the other day when I was explaining this to my boys. I said, imagine when Grandpa Rick died. Do you think he had adequate B1? Probably. I don't know. I'm just guessing. Do you think that he didn't have every chemical imbalance? He probably had adequate things going on in his body. But what happens when people die is they lose the electrical charge. They lose the electrical charge, guys. That's why people, and let me teach you this. One of the things that I think I've done right my whole life that I'm going to teach you to do right is exercise, because it creates piezoelectricity. Piezoelectricity is a natural way of charging yourself. Phones need a charge. It's called the cell phone. Cell, C-E-L-L, phone. We are made of cells. We need a charge. Are you getting this? Okay. What is David calling the product launching tomorrow? Say it with me. Cellergize. Cell. C-E-L-L. Are you getting this? None of this is coincidence, aren't you? I mean, pull this together now. This is will lead to your healing. Anyway, when he goes in here, the first time I saw this, I thought, you've got to be kidding me. He shows this picture. Can you see it? Can you see it? Okay, look at these pictures on there. Do you see those things? They're each attached to an organ system. Okay. Then he shows this one. Some of them are for the system. Some are for the lung system. Danusha, that's page 148 and 149. And then he showed this. Okay, first of all, I'm addicted to Tesla. If you guys didn't know that. You guys know Tesla? I'm addicted to, I believe that everything is sound, light, frequency for healing. Okay, then he showed this picture. Look at where David tells us to put the patch. Here, under the belly button, at the base of the sternum. Do you see these? What I'm showing you? So in this book, he says the organs of the body are wired together in Tesla circuits. When I saw this, I thought David Schmidt knows exactly where we're putting these patches, right? We're putting them on these major things that are helping the overall circuitry of our system. Anyway, there's lots more in here. I just showed you that. That is on page, for those of you who have the book, it's on page 142. Prepare to have, this is the best book in health that I've ever read in my life. And I've read tens of thousands. It's the best health book I've read in my life. Okay, it's called Healing is Voltage. Now listen, this is what the Lord has been working on me at, because we've been trained so chemically. How many of you know that we believe in supplements? But supplements are chemicals too, right? Are you guys getting this? But we need them. We need sodium, potassium, magnesium. We do a lot better when we're on niacin, right? There's all these, B1 is amazing for your nervous system and everyone's deficient. If you don't have iodine, you're developing tumors everywhere in your body. If you didn't know that, right? Iodine literally removes tumors from the body. People just don't know this stuff because their doctors are not talking like this. So I still believe in the chemical. We need to understand the chemical, right? And then there's also hormonal, which I'm not going to get much into hormonal tonight, okay? But there's also hormonal, right? T2, 3T, T4, right? All these different things with our thyroid gland, right? So we know there's hormonal, we know there's chemical, but why haven't we been trained in the electrical when the electrical controls it all? It's like the big fat, if you got one of those breaker boxes in your house and at the top you can shut the whole house down or off, because listen, you might have some of those chemicals right or wrong, maybe most of them right, a couple of them wrong, but if the electrical power goes out, it doesn't matter if you were full of the chemicals, the good ones or the good ones or the bad ones, right? Because the electrical power went off. The electrical is actually the most important, which is why if you die, they jumpstart you. Are you guys getting what I'm saying? Is everybody in agreement with me? We've not been trained electrically. And you know when someone is high electricity. I am high electricity. Can you feel it? This is how I live my life. Like I am like literally, I function at such high electrical state all the time. And I thought it's not just good supplementation. Part of it is I think I exercise all the time. And that's creating piezoelectricity. Your muscles in your body are literally stacked like a battery pack. So when you go in there and you start activating your muscles, do you know that we're made of a crystalline matrix? Crystals are in our muscles. You're made of a crystalline matrix, and you start pumping your muscles like this, and you get done with the workout and you say, oh my God, I feel better than before. I wasn't going to work out. Thank God I did, because now I feel like $1 million. How many of you feel better after a workout? Raise your hand. So there's different ways that we can increase our electrical charge. I want you guys to know this because I feel like we're 8,000 meters ahead of the second place runner. Okay. Like, I don't even know where that guy's at, the second place runner. I can't see him. He's not anywhere in my rearview mirror, right? He's so far back because he's only talking nutrition. And I'm convinced, as an athlete myself and raising athlete sons and seeing people go from disease states to now full octane health on no drugs, the electrical is the missing link for people's health care. Okay. Now I'm going to show you. This is so cool what Debbie Martin made me, and I'm not done. You guys just are getting a rough idea because I'm just going to show it to you. And Danusha, I mean, I've been having this in my spirit for a long time, right? Because I've read this book, Healing is Voltage, 2 years ago, right? But the other day, Danusha posted something and she said, maybe your body doesn't have the energy to heal. And I thought, I need to go down that rabbit hole. And should I tell you how else the Lord works on me? Because I listened to this guy named Lance Wallnau, and he had this guy on the other day that's talking about codes in the Bible. And these codes in the Bible are telling people how they can restore and heal their bodies. And I'm like, hello, David Schmidt. This guy's like, again, behind the 8 ball. David Schmidt's been there a long time already. So the Lord is just walking me out on this path of the electrical, right? And it's not a common message. It's not a welcome message because we've been so inundated with the chemical warfare of the nutraceutical and pharmaceutical system. Pharmaceutical is one thing, but the nutraceutical is like the opposite of it. They're just trying to sell all their products too, but they're supposed to be kind of the good guys. You guys get it, right? But I think that, I mean, I think that you need electrolytes. I think you need all the B vitamins. I think that you need all the fat soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K. I know this. Like, if you're not getting that basic stuff, but how come some people, listen, you guys saw my dad's legs heal overnight. Let me tell you why that happened. Do you think I had my dad on good supplements, knowing me? What do you guys think? Yes. Was my dad taking some good nutraceuticals, not pharmaceuticals? He was taking pharmaceuticals, so we were dealing with toxicity, which is another inhibition of the electrical system. The toxins disrupt the energy flow, just like a scar does, just like a tattoo does. Certain things disrupt the energy frequency. So emotions get stuck in organ systems. And that's why someone says, oh, my shoulder. They get a little stressed out. Oh, my shoulder. Oh, my back. Why? Because those emotions are getting stuck in the matrix of the body. It's crazy to even talk like this, but the bottom line is my dad was taking excellent supplements. I probably wasn't quite right on my electrolytes with dad, as you heard, because day 1, he healed overnight and the leg stopped dripping. And then day 2, I went there and he was sleeping. And day 3, I went there and he was sleeping. And I said to him, Dad, are you dying? Are you healing? And he said, I think I'm healing. And then I went and watched a David Schmidt video, and David Schmidt said, if people get tired, my dad, lethargic, brain fog, headachy, or more pain, they're electrolyte insufficient. I bet I answer that question 25 times a day on Messenger, the one I just said to you. If they get fatigued or tired, headachy, body achy, right? Or maybe just like brain fog and confusion. That is electrolyte insufficiency. So when I heard that from David Schmidt, I went to my dad and I gave him watermelon with Celtic salt, and I gave him a bottle of coconut water with electrolytes in it. And an hour later, my mom called and said, whatever you did, it worked because your dad's out mowing the lawn. So what I'm telling you is my dad had the appropriate nutrients, right? Because I'm crazy about nutrients, right? And eating just right and feeding everybody just right. It's like a passion. So he had that. He didn't have exactly the right electrolytes needed for his body to restore at the rate at which it was about to restore, right? Because he had a lot of stuff going on with him. So he needed a lot of electrolytes. Just think about it that way. If you don't have much going on, maybe you won't notice any brain fog or fatigue. But if you got a whole host of arsenal of bad stuff going on in the body, it's crucial that you get electrolytes. And some people, when I tell them to drink electrolytes, it's like I told them to dig a 40-mile ditch. I'm like, go to the store, buy some coconut water and drink it. Get a bag of Celtic salt. This whole process is going to cost you $10, right? And you think that I would ask them to go to war. Because they're like, I don't know if I can do it. I better go back to my doctor. I'm like, yeah, that's right. Go back to your doctor and get on another drug or two, or have them surgery you right out the door because you don't want to spend 10 minutes and $10 going to the grocery store. Get real. Those are not my people. I say, snap out of that. Okay. That's not the realm we live in. So look at what Debbie Martin made me. Let me pull it up. Is Debbie on here tonight? Debbie, are you on here tonight? Ooh, she just sent me another one. I'm just going to show you what I'm building because it's so awesome. And imagine this combined with our typical LifeWave presentation that I give on Thursday night. So I'm going to have to downsize it a little bit, but we just made it all of it at first so I could show it to you guys, so I could explain it to you. Now, listen, if you don't understand healing is voltage and that we're the biggest thing to our healing, the reason no one in our country, the reason people are taking handfuls of medication and not getting any better is they're not dealing with the electrical charge. In fact, the toxicity from those damn drugs are making them worse, right? So their electrical flow is getting worse. If the doctor dealt with the you can feel electricity. I talked about it the other night. It's like a dimmer switch in a house. How many of you have dimmer switches? If you got a dimmer switch in the house, that's somebody who's fatigued, they're lethargic, they just, they don't ever feel, I don't have the energy to go to the gym, like they're just, and what happens is first it starts with low energy, then it starts with then it goes to low immune system. Then you're getting sick all the time from everything, right, guys? Then eventually it's like leads into a whole host of dis-ease in the body. But what if instead of just giving people the chemical, what if we had them fix the electrical first? Because we know it's the most important, because if you die, they don't just pour coconut water over your body. They jumpstart with you with electrical paddles. Okay. Scott says, sometimes, Renita, you beat a dead horse. I want you to get this. I sometimes say the same thing over and over because I don't want you to miss what I'm saying. Now, I'm going to show you this. Oh my gosh. You have no excited. I'm so excited to show you this. I've been working on this and Debbie Martin's been helping me. So electrical is the healing hidden power. This is why people that put the patch on have these remarkable, incredible results, like my father, like so many people, that they literally were doctoring and nothing was getting better. And then what we did is we increased the electrical flow of their bodies with the patch. And it was like literally a day, 2-3 days later, they overcame something that they've been literally trying to combat for a decade, right? How many of you have seen things like this when people put the patch on? And are you thinking, why is it working like that on some people? Most doctors overlook the body's electrical system. Are we in agreement about that? Has your doctor ever said to you, I wonder how your electrical system is? In fact, when you go to your doctor, you will know, if you just write this down, that you need 2,500 milligrams of sodium, 4,600 milligrams of potassium, and 600 milligrams of magnesium a day. You will know 99.9% more than your doctor about electrolytes. He'll have to look it up and he won't be able to tell you. Okay. So when I go in there, I can't even have a conversation with most doctors unless they're an integrated physician about electrolytes, because they don't talk electrolytes. And I said to the doctor, if you would just talk electrolytes, most everybody, not everyone, most everyone would be reducing or eliminating their blood pressure medication, because the heart functions on a sodium potassium pump. It's like a pickleball game. Sodium, potassium, sodium, potassium. If you just go sodium and you don't do any potassium back, that's hypertension. Okay, that's why when I say electrolytes, I am not kidding. Electrolytes are going to help the electrical system of the body. Even though they're a chemical, they're going to help the electrical system to function better. And I'm going to tell you a couple other ways to do it. Okay, every cell needs the right charge to function and repair. Do you guys realize this? You need the right charge to get better. Okay, are you with me on this? This is huge, what I'm showing you tonight. If you like health at all, you're going to be obsessed with what I'm showing you because it's that good. Okay. If you don't like health, you're going to get an education tonight and you're going to like it. Health and vitality require 3 systems. Oh my gosh, Debbie, put this together already. Your body's energy system, the spark of healing most doctors ignore. We know this, right? Nutrients and detoxification. That's what's removing the toxins from your body. And you also need the right nutrients. That's why David created Cell Urgize. Okay. And then messengers that regulate everything. That's like the hormonal system of the body. Okay. Like your thyroid, your adrenals, right? Are you guys understanding this? So we got the electrical, the chemical, and the hormonal. Are you with me? Raise your hand if you're with me. All 3 of these are important. You can't just go fix one and think, well, I'm taking a multivitamin. Why am I not any better? Because you're flatlined. You got no electrical system going on in your body. Like your function of your your voltage is low, okay? And how many of you know if you've ever been sick and you have low voltage, how many of you know that you can feel that? Like you just can't, you don't have the energy to argue. You don't have the energy to fight with somebody. You don't have the energy to respond sometimes, right? Because it takes energy, right? So you guys know that if you've ever been sick and the electrical flow is off, it's tough. Okay. What is this on here for? Let me see. Hang on a second. Piezoelectricity. Oh, David, I think Debbie just sent that one thing right there. Hang on a second. We got more. So piezoelectricity is what I told you about already. Do you know that the only thing that they have proven to stop Parkinson's disease? Do you guys know the only thing scientifically proven that stops Parkinson's disease? Can anybody guess it? There's one thing that stops it. Anyone? Throw out a educated guess.
Electricity.
Exercise. So exercise actually has been clinically proven by the University of Ohio that when people with Parkinson's exercise, it will literally stop and reverse their Parkinson's symptoms. It's the number one thing. And the reason it is because every time you exercise, there is something called piezoelectricity. Piezoelectricity means that your body is literally, every time you exercise, those muscles that are rubbing together and making friction and heat and energy are creating, they literally increase your cellular energy. They increase the body's flow. So what happens with people with Parkinson's, I'm in a Parkinson's group with about 25,000 people. There's one guy in there that exercises 10 hours a day. I'm not kidding. And the guy doesn't have a symptom of Parkinson's. Not a symptom, not one. And he's like a madman with exercise. Have you guys ever saw that guy? His name is Jimmy something. He was on American Ninja Warrior and he was a guy with Parkinson's. And he was on American Ninja Warrior and now he's like really super famous. Do you know how Jimmy combats Parkinson's? Exercise. Like, I mean, it's crazy to say out loud, right? So the bottom line is piezoelectricity creates an energetic flow, an electrical flow in the body. You literally are a cell phone that needs recharging. Okay. And you know when your cell phone is downtrodden, how you feel. Okay, let me go back. I got to stop the share and go back to the thing that Debbie sent me because I accidentally clicked on the wrong thing twice. And this is all going to be put together better. I'm just giving you an overview of it so that you guys can get fired up, that you have your hands on a total gold mine with the patches, because the patches are improving and increasing the correct flow, the electrical flow of the body. That's exactly what the ice wave does, is it's a positive negative charge. That's why it stops pain in 15 seconds. Okay, because pain is a frequency and all the patches do is disrupt the pain frequency, right? I mean, we're going to be rich because no one's talking about this. No one's talking about the fact that we are electrical beings, except this old guy, Jerry Tennant, who not a lot of people are listening to because the guy's like 85. I'm not kidding. He is 85. That's how old he is. Anyway, you should go listen to some of the stuff. He's a genius. Let me go back over here to Debbie Martin's. Bear with me for a second. Debbie Martin there. Oh, wrong one. Wrong. I got so much stuff going on in my inbox. I haven't been on it much today because my mom was over and Grandma Pearl. We were entertaining Grandma Pearl. All right, here we go. Let me show you this again. Where'd it go, Debbie? Where'd it go? Let me see. Let's go with this one. Is Debbie on here tonight? I can't believe she's not on here because I need her. I need Debbie. Okay, let me go back to this. Here it is. Share. Look at this. Check this out. This is so good. I'm just going to read now. I'm just going to read off the screen so that we can move this along. Think of your body like your phone. Low voltage equals low performance. We're in agreement with that, right? Healthy cells, negative 25 millivolts. Remember that number I gave you earlier? That's the number, negative 25 millivolts. Healing in new cells, if you get to negative 50 millivolts, you will literally heal of any disease in your body will be healed. Okay? So you're asking yourself, how do I increase my millivolts? Is anybody asking that besides me? Okay, there's a couple ways that you increase your millivolts. Number one is you exercise. Number two is sunlight on the eyes. This is why those dirty buggers told us to get out of the sun. The sun charges us, dudes. They told us to quit eating salt. Salt is an electrolyte. Gives us a voltage. They told us to do everything that was stopping the electrical flow of our body. They told us to get out of the sun. They told us to quit the salt. They told us to quit eating butter. The butter makes up the freaking myelin sheath of your cells so that you have good cellular communication. If you don't have good cellular communication because you don't have enough healthy fat in your brain, nothing is working right. When I'm telling you I'm eating a stick of butter every 3 days, you guys might be laughing. I'm telling you the truth. Something's going on. God's got me on a journey right now. He always does that to me so because he knows I'm going to go tell the others. When your voltage drops, everything slows down. So your cells run on electricity. Your body, just like your cell phone, needs to be powered to function. Same thing. What happens, you guys, when your cell phone gets really low? Let's say you're at 2%. Can you open any apps? Can you attempt to get on a Zoom meeting at 2%? If you call someone, sometimes they can't even hear you when you're talking, right? It's like, oh, it's not quite getting there, right? It's like it's like you feel like you're like, oh, I need to charge my phone. Nothing's working right? Our bodies are made of cells. Okay, so when your cells are depleted and low, that is why you are getting all these crazy symptoms. So it doesn't matter how much you rest. You could rest and rest. You don't just need to rest. You need to charge your cellular battery. How many of you know there's a difference between just resting and actually charging? Those look different, okay? We have to keep our charge up. So here's what I'm going to tell you. My message for tonight. We are going to be multi-millionaires and billionaires. Raise your hand if you think that's you. I know it's me because I'm like, no one is talking about electricity. No one is saying we're electrical beings. That's like a normal person. That's not a doctor. We need to make this mainstream. We're not just biological. Our body is actually an electrical masterpiece. Each and every cell is powered by energy. Each heartbeat is driven by a spark. It's actually called the zinc spark. When a baby is formed in the mother's womb, it's a zinc spark. It's a light that flashes in the mama's womb when the baby's created. You guys know that? Have you ever heard of the zinc spark? Paula Greiner has. It literally, that we are light. We are electrical, okay? Some of us are more electrical than others. It's time for you to get your spark up. Okay, I don't know what that is. I'm just trying to go through what Debbie made me. Debbie, where is the presentation you sent me? It was long before. Now I just got a couple of them. So, okay.
She's trying to get on, Renita. I just called her, so she's trying to get on.
Yeah, did she are you on? Debbie, how come you had sent me one? There was like 10 slides, I thought, or 15 slides. Or was there only 4? Can you pull it up, Debbie? Can you send it to me on Messenger?
Okay, wait, what are you looking for?
Remember, like the first one you sent me was like all of them done, and then I just had sent these over to you today to add these last two, but I thought there was more on the front end. How many slides were in the presentation?
I think there were like 9 originally.
Yeah, that's what I feel like I'm missing. I'm missing some of those 9. I don't know where they're at. Can you just send it to me again in my Messenger account so I can see if I can pull it up? Because
I've been adding some others tonight.
Good, because this is going to be, so imagine, guys, I want you to get this. We are going to go out and we are going to combine the This Is It team presentation, just like we've always done, but we're going to be adding 1, 2, 3, 5 of these slides on the front end. I am going to be mass marketing toward athletes because I realized the athletes, like most athletes kind of have an idea about nutrition. They're pretty radical, the ones I deal with. Like they know, but guess what they don't have? They don't have the electrical spark. They're missing something with the electrical part of the body. Like this is so huge. Okay, Debbie, did you send it to me?
I just texted you
Okay, text
on
me.
Facebook.
Oh, Messenger.
Messenger, yeah.
Messenger. Okay, let me get this. Let me see where my computer screen's all goofy. Debbie's moving, by the way. So thank you, Debbie, for hopping on because she's in the middle of like moving, right? How's the move going? Is it awesome? You love your new place? Okay, here we go. Let me go to Facebook. Let me get over here to Miss Debbie again. Let me grab Miss Debbie. Guys, my computer's a little slow. I apologize, but you got to get this. Here it is. Okay, that's it. Okay, I want to make sure you guys see every page that I kind of was working on that Debbie, oh, here it is. Here it is, Debbie. Here it is, baby. Healing his voltage and giving credit where credit's due because Debbie put this together and this was all put together from this Dr. Jerry Tennant. If you guys have not listened to this guy, You got to get on YouTube and listen to some of his stuff. You're going to be blown out of the water. So let me just show it again. You're not just biological. We're all in agreement of that. Our bodies are, say, I am an electrical masterpiece. My doctor might not talk like that. He might not even know that when I'm talking like that, right? Our bodies are like our cell phones. We need them to be adequately charged. That's why they're called cells, okay? By the way, did you guys see that cell thing where they take your blood and they show you your cell, and a lot of people, their blood is clumped? It's called, who knows what it's called? Is Lynn Lindbergh on here? Lynn, if you're on here, tell them what it's called, where this, you take the prick of blood and then you put it on there and you're looking at it.
It's called Rolo.
It's no, it's not called that. Guess again. Good
When
guess.
it's all clumping together?
Well, yeah, when it's clumping together, but what is that called where you go look at that? The doctor measures it for you.
You mean the live blood analysis when the,
Live blood analysis. Is that what you
Yeah.
just said?
yeah, there you go.
Okay, live blood analysis. Talk English, girl. I'm English.
Yeah.
Live blood analysis.
Yeah.
Okay. And you guys have seen that, right? Like on mine, I was like wearing the patches. And before I went out to my doctor, I was sitting in the sun. I didn't exercise that morning on purpose because I thought I had to go get this live blood analysis done. And I don't know how exercise is going to affect this thing, right? But I'm sitting in the sun with my patches on. I go at 8 a.m. to get my live blood done. And my doctor says, I have never seen anyone your age with this amount of movement, with no clumping, like you have perfect blood at 8 a.m. What is going on? I said, do you think it's the patch? But I also was sitting in the sun. Sun also increases your electricity. Moving water increases your electricity. Moving water increases your electricity. Thanks, Lynn. Moving water, which is why I always drink bubbly water. Oh my gosh. Now, some of you are thinking she's kind of crazy. She should stop drinking bubbly water, right? Because I got so much electricity. Scott sometimes is like, you got to simmer down, kid. And I'm like, no, but moving water like an ocean, right? Electrons, right? All of that is going to help us. So when your voltage starts to drop, guys, your energy crashes, chronic pain and inflammation, slow healing, brain fog, autoimmune diseases, right? So when an organ loses power, disease follows. Are you with me on this? Does everybody understand this? And maybe you knew this, but I didn't know it like I know it now. Okay. It's like a whole nother level of knowing. So electrical energy gives us full body benefits, better sleep, reduced pain, more energy, clearer memory, sharper brain. These are all the things that are happening when our electrical flow increases in our body. Isn't it interesting that when you read this list of things, it's also the same list that happens when you put X39 on? It's kind of the same list. I'm seeing some similarities here, kids, right? This is science. This is not woo-woo. Like when people say, I don't know if I believe that I'm an electrical being. Well, you are, okay? Since the 1980s, science confirms cells are electrical. Bones, brains, organs, they all rely on a voltage. Do you know that you can actually set a frequency and a voltage? They can measure the voltage of our body. Do you guys know in the early 1900s what homeopathy was? How many of you know what homeopathy is? They take a distilled water and they put a frequency in the water, and then you just put one drop under your tongue and then you don't get the flu or whatever, right? Because there's all these homeopathic remedies that they're selling at mainstream places like Target now. You guys with me? Those are frequency inspired drops, little drops, or in water, either way. So that was a frequency infused water. And isn't it crazy that when Big Pharma came, they eliminated the electrical component on purpose? Not only did they not talk about it, they told you to stay out of the sun and stop eating salt. And then they started spraying the yards with glyphosate because they know if you go earth, you're going to probably heal a lot of diseases. Grounding water, right? Clean water. Then they said, you know what? We're going to get them at the water. We're going to put fluoride in their water. That's going to affect their thyroid, and that's going to affect their hormonal system. That's going to affect their electrical system. See what happened? Are you guys getting this? So like I said, I like how if you think it's woo-woo, you might need to science a little harder. You might need to educate yourself a little bit. Fun fact, Pliny the Elder, that was his name, used electric eels 2,000 years ago for migraines. That's how much electricity matters. Think about that, 2,000 years ago. That's like forever ago. So what we forgot and why? Tesla pioneered electrical healing. How many of you know that about Tesla? Have you studied Tesla? During the pandemic, I went on a year hunt for all Tesla literature and I read everything. I was obsessed with Tesla. And then God was giving me signs. I would go to teach SkyFed at Sky Zone, and my boss, who was an engineer who owned Sky Zone, I pulled into the parking lot one day, and on his truck, the plate said Tesla. I walked in, I said, Drazen, is that your vehicle with the Tesla plates? He goes, yeah. He said, I love Nikola Tesla. In fact, I stayed in the hotel room where he died out in New York. I stayed in his hotel room. I said, you're kidding me. Let's talk Tesla. So now I was talking to an engineer who's way smart about Tesla. Tesla literally knew everything about frequency. Do you know that the reason they were giving Tesla all the money, and he said, I've got frequencies heal disease. Frequencies heal disease. And do you know what they did? Do you know what Big Pharma did? The Rockefellers? They took away his funding, and he ended up living in a little hotel room and died. A skinny, old, broken, scared old man, because no one trusted his science, because the big banks and Big Pharma made him out to be a crazy person, because he literally had healed diseases. You know those 5G towers that we have sitting around here? When you study Tesla, he already had created something like that back in 1900. True story. Go look him up. Anyway, here's what I want you to know. Crystals create electricity. And remember how in Christians say, don't be scared of crystals. We are made of crystals, dude. Like the crystal, we are made of a crystalline matrix in our bodies. Like, what do you mean don't be afraid of crystals? I am made of crystal. Like, right? Pharma crushed it in the early 1900s. Cells naturally generate electricity. You can feel when you get around somebody electric. And you can get around somebody that's not electric and they're half dead and you're like, they need a charge. Right? How many of you guys know this? And that's why I always say I'm going to go to the nursing home and put patches on the back of the necks, right? Because that's a big deal. All right. Voltage and motion. Electricity is created in your body when you breathe, move, and walk. How about just breathing? Let's take a deep breath. Right? When you're breathing, moving, and walking, it's like the guy, I'm telling you, they heal Parkinson's with exercise, guys. Cells generate piezoelectricity. Okay? Google the word. Your cell membranes are actually electric. Another thing they told us to get rid of was fat. Do you know that 60% of our cell membranes are made of cholesterol? 60% of our cells. You are made of trillions of cells in the body. And if the cells cannot talk to one another like this, you don't have cellular communication. If you have cells going like this, you've got a bunch of pain in your body. Pain, and more pain. 60% of our cells are made of cholesterol. What did they try to do to everybody? Put them on cholesterol lowering medication. If it's 60% of what our cells are made of, then what are our cells going to be made of? Then they brought in the vegetable oil, the canola oil, the processed fats. And what those things are is essentially plastic. Now let's imagine I'm a little cell voltage made of butter and raw milk and eggs and fat from steak, and I can talk and communicate and my nerves are good. Now let's imagine that someone puts someone on cholesterol lowering medication and tells them to quit eating butter, eggs, and steak. And now they're eating all this processed junk food. And now that 60% cell wall is not made of healthy fat so it can properly communicate. It's made of plastic. Is that going to make somebody's cells communicate better or worse? Are you guys getting what I'm saying? This is like a health education tonight. You can thank me later. You all need to know this and need to share this. The truth is, I've kind of known bits and pieces of this, but more in the recent week, the Lord's like, get it done, Renita. And so voltage is the master key to healing. Listen, electrical is above chemical and even hormonal. You know how we know? How many of you have put a patch on somebody, that's electrical, and it's changed their thyroid? Raise your hand. How about John Getz getting completely off his thyroid medication? I talk to people every day that they no longer have thyroid nodules. They no longer have the symptoms of Hashimoto's, right? That's a thyroid. So the bottom line is, my question I'm asking you, is the electrical affecting hormonal? Yes or no? What do you guys think? You know the number one way to regulate your hormones? The number one way. Who knows it? Get in the sun. The sun in the sky is the #1 way to regulate hormonal balance in the body. And they told you to stay out of it. Are you getting what I'm telling you? They haven't told you about electrical. They lied about the other two, right? This is crazy, Trey, once you get your mind around this. I'm actually at the point where I actually believe, between what David has come out with, the patches, the water, the light infused water, the Celergize, that we're probably going to be able to heal of every disease. Like, I'm not kidding. I'm not just saying that. Like, I'm actually believing that now, what I'm coming into. So we have to start charging our cells, not just our cell phones. So how are we going to charge our cells every day? Let's talk about that again. What do we do to charge the cells? Okay, what do we do, guys?
Exercise. Get in
Thank
the
you.
sun.
Sunlight.
Yes. Sunlight, especially
Salt.
sunlight on the, yep. Salt is very important. Exercising.
Butter and exercise.
Butter. Butter. Well, that's because I'm talking about the myelin sheath, Paula, because I want you guys to make sure you have enough fatty. The fat needs to be coherent enough for the cells to communicate. If it's toxic fat or fake fat, like plastic, the cells don't have cellular communication and you get pain. Let's not forget running water. How many of you, when you take a shower, have your best ideas when you're in running water or swimming? Happens to me nonstop. If I need an idea, if I'm in a season of creation, I tell Scott, I got to go take a shower. Sometimes I take 4 showers a day because the water running over me does something to me. And I also have, Scott says it's because my mouth is shut and I'm not talking. So I could be having better ideas, but it also happens when I'm swimming. When I'm swimming, I get the most remarkable ideas. And then imagine if you're swimming in the ocean, what's happening? You're supercharged, right, guys? So we got sun, we got sand, we got earthing and grounding. Do not walk on your glyphosate grass. Okay. All of these things are going to put the charge back in. We got sodium, potassium, magnesium. We got the patch. The patch is literally working, you guys, on the electrical currency and the flow of the body. That's what the patch is doing. That's why your doctor doesn't know what it is. Get it? Because your doctor's talking chemical or maybe hormonal, but they don't even talk about electrical, right? Until you're dead and they're jumping you with the cables. See what I'm saying? All right. This is huge. So imagine what I'm about to do here. Like, what am I going to do is I'm actually going to take this and I need to tighten it down, but I just have to present it to somebody so that you guys can hear it, because I want you to know this is very powerful. But I'm going to tighten this down so it's tighter yet, and I'm going to put it together with our LifeWave current presentation that we have with This Is It team and kind of some of the stuff that Scott and I have done with my mom and my dad and all that. We're going to put that together in a little flip chart format so that you guys can utilize it too. Because part of what you guys are is you literally are the power horses. You're the power cables to go out and teach people this information because they don't know that they're electrical. When you tell people to drink electrolytes, they're like Gatorade. You know what I mean? That's what they think. And because the marketing has done a good job of that crap, right? But the truth is, they're never trained that elderly needs them, kids need them, a 40-year-old hormonal woman needs them. Like, no one's ever taught that everybody needs electrolytes. Have you ever heard your doctor saying you need electrolytes? And by the way, let me tell you one other thing, just in case for the record, because I want to get this out there. Because I had this blood, remember you guys, I had this blood, stool, and saliva thing that I sent in. Well, apparently my blood was contaminated. And so now I have to go get this blood thing done again. But what I was reading, and it said, listen, when you guys are going to the doctor and they're measuring something in the blood, do you know that the majority of some of these nutrients are stored in tissues? They're not even in the blood. So that blood that they're doing is a moment in time that may or may not be accurate, because some of these nutrients are being stored in tissues, not even in our blood. And imagine how much stock we give to blood. Think about this for a second, right? So it got me really thinking. I'm like, oh my gosh, this whole system is just like upside down on its head, right? Here's my fundamental belief after researching, understanding it all, being completely engulfed in this for all week. Electrical is first. And when we fix the electrical, it sometimes automatically fixes the chemical. Like when you get in the sun's electrical, it gives you adequate vitamin D. When you get in the sun, it's electrical. It actually balances your hormones. It's the #1 thing for hormone balancing. The electrical has the capacity to fix. It was like the other night, with my friend Valerie Musa. She said she hasn't been taking her supplements. She's just been wearing the patch from California. She goes back to the doctor. The doctor says, oh my gosh, all of your nutrients are perfect. She goes, that's interesting. I haven't been taking my supplements. You get what I'm saying? The Lord has just got me by the hand walking this thing out with me. The electrical is the most important. Would you guys agree or disagree at this point? I'm completely convinced of it. Because I think to myself, sometimes people do all the hormonal stuff and they still feel like hell, right? They're on, how many people do you know on thyroid medication that still feel like crap? A lot of them, all of them. That's how many. So you've got to go and restore the electrical, right? How many people do you know on toxic medications with the chemical side of it? Because there's a pill for every ill and they feel miserable. Well, they're getting so far away now. They're not sitting in the sun. They're not eating salt. They're not earthing and grounding. They're spraying their yards with glyphosate. You know, they're drinking tap water that's loaded with fluoride and chloride and everything else. Bottom line is of course they're going to feel like crap because the electrical is foundational and they've never mentioned the electrical. We're on to something big, huge, right? I kind of feel like Pretty Woman, where I walk out of that store and I'm like, big mistake, big, huge. Like, you should have got this. Like, I'm trying to tell you, I'm trying to save your life. And this is why people that sometimes put the patch on have life-saving things. Let me give you one more example. It happens so fast in animals because animals don't carry around, their emotions don't get lodged in the tissues like humans do, okay? I don't know if you guys have ever read the book by Louise Hay called Heal Your Body, but you know, like female stuff is breasts and, you know, it's all stuff. Everything has a meaning. Every ailment has an emotional meaning. Well, dogs don't really have that. And how many of you guys realize when you put a patch on a dog, it just like works? Like, God, that, like Nike the other day with those allergies, she was like coughing. I literally put the patch on her. I'm not kidding. She vomited up a pile of foam and then she was done coughing. And then today, somebody was walking by and he said, my dog has such bad allergies. I said, hang on a second, let me run and get a patch. I ran out and I patched the dog walking by. I said, give it 5 minutes. I'm like, because dogs are so, they just need that little electrical. And you know why dogs are sometimes not getting it? Because of all the yards being sprayed with glyphosate. The chemical that is in the grass is combating those electrons that those animals naturally use to restore and regenerate themselves. And because the chemical's there, dogs are literally getting sick and dying, right? Because it's like literally a chemical toxin that's coming into their paws. Anyway, I think about my mom's friend Jacinta's dog, Coco. You guys know that story, how the dog came out of kidney failure in 2 days, not making medical claims. It's just what happened. And, but that dog was at the vet and the dog was getting loads and loads of IV nutrients and loads of IV electrolytes. And then my friend took the dog home to die. And I said, let's put a patch on the dog. So the dog had plenty of the good chemical, right, guys? It had the nutraceuticals, it had the electrolytes, and it had, because the dog hadn't eaten out of the dish for 2 weeks. Couldn't eat. It was in kidney failure. So they were feeding the dog intravenously with the nutrition. You guys get what I'm saying? And then what happened is the next day we put a patch because the dog didn't have the electrical. The dog was sitting at the vet office on the concrete floor in a pen. So we bring the dog out, we put the patches on the dog, and in 2 days, the dog's completely out of kidney failure. They go back and measure the kidneys, they're normal. Because the chemical was set. Because you get what I'm saying? The dog just needed the electrical. The dog needed that electrical stimulus to move back to and restore health. Isn't that amazing to think about? All right, do you guys have any questions on this? Are you getting the rough idea that I'm giving you? That was real rough thrown out there, right? But I want you to understand it because it's for your back pocket. Because I want you to know when you're talking to people, it's not that they don't want the patch. They don't understand what we're saying tonight. They don't understand how the patch could actually save their life. They don't understand the patch, how it's restoring that electromagnetic frequency that their bodies are needing, severely craving. It's actually the most dominant thing they need. And now they're dehydrated, laying in a hospital bed full of chemicals that are basically full of poisons, and their body's trying to combat that crap. They're sitting in, I remember when my dad was in the hospital, he was on the inside of an inside room. And I remember at one time when I said, we've got to get him into the sun. Like I literally said that and the lady's like, well, he can't be moved. I'm like, we're moving him. You can bring whatever thing I need to move him, but I'm taking him downstairs and we're putting him in that atrium right in the sun. And she's like, I don't think we're supposed to do that. I said, we'll talk to the doctor later about it. And I just grabbed a wheelchair out of the hallway and I'm like, let's go. Like we're pushing all this crap down. And so the bottom line is I got him in the sun. I got my dad in the sun. I had the sense to think he needs the sun. You guys know that I've had that sense my whole life. And I'm not saying, look at me, look at me. That's a spiritual gift of wisdom that God gave me. That's not just a Renita Brandon Smart thing. Like the Lord has like given me that. Like where we need that electrical stimulus to be able to heal. It's like a dog. What does dogs do when they're sick? They lay in the sun, right? They lay in the grass, right? All right. Let me see what you guys have. Oh my gosh, 96 chat? Is this from tonight? What are you guys saying in this chat, Lord Almighty? Okay. Wish I could have the replay without the Facebook. Okay, you can have the replay. The YouTube, listen, when I post this in the Facebook group, when you click on it, when you go to click on this in our Facebook group, LifeWave Wellness Warriors, you'll see 3 dots in the right-hand corner when you click on it. When you see those 3 dots, click on it and click on open in an external browser. That's a money thing I just gave you. If you didn't know that, what I just told you is gold. When you go into Facebook groups and there's something in there that's a Zoom link and you can't like, oh, I can't share it with my friends. No, you can share it with your friends. You click on the Zoom link inside the Facebook group, 3 little dots will pop up in the corner and click on the dot that says open an external browser. It'll take you outside of Facebook and you'll open it actually in Zoom. So you won't need to be in the Facebook group to watch it. Okay, that's that. Makes sense. Yeah. Yep, that's it. Awesome. It is awesome. My friend is wondering about her stroke. Full left side, still gone after a year. Water, machine, Celergize, salt, patch. Yeah, all of it. If they're not doing it, I would also go on the bottoms of the feet. Kidney 1, it's called, with energy enhancers. Boom, boom. Energy enhancers on the bottoms of the feet. I love carnosine for strokes. I love X49 for strokes. Okay, I believe it. Yep. Yes. And then they sell you sunglasses. And trust me, I got a couple pairs and I'm thinking about taking them along because I just like how I look in them. And I like them now with this long hair, I can pull my hair back. It's kind of like a headband. But I'm like, I can't even take these dang sunglasses along, right? Because sunglasses, again, that is a way to not have you get full exposure to the electricity. When I say it all out loud, it makes sense, doesn't it? Let's see. Yes. Can you add the PFC too? Yes, I love PFC, but now I need to remake my, so I've got the plate, but I need to remake it with an oxalate-free list of foods. That's what I have to do, Kathy. So like arugula, broccoli, cauliflower, carrots are pretty low, right? Green pepper. So there are some low oxalate vegetables and fruits that you can consume. So I just need to put an add-on sheet in there. Hey, if you're looking at doing PFC with oxalate, low oxalate, here's your oxalate choices. So I'm going to do that sometime soon. Okay. I got to get that done. Maybe I can employ AI to do that for me. Let's see. Yep. And let's give it up for Debbie Martin for those slides. She's an AI genius. Debbie, I said to my boys, I'm registering for the $30 class. I lasted 5 minutes. Rocco's like, what are you doing? I'm like, learning AI. And he's like, Mom, I'm like, you're right. I'm just going to let Debbie do it. Baptized in water. Yes. Put a water filter on your shower. We've got them in our whole house. I'm pretty crazy about, would a tanning bed be effective to help get sun? I think so. You know, I remember 20 years ago, Dr. Joseph Mercola was selling tanning beds. You guys know who Joseph Mercola is? He was like the original kind of godfather type guy with natural health. And he was actually
I have
selling
one,
tanning beds.
and it wasn't just tanning bed. The bulbs had sun. They gave you the rays
Red
from the
light blue.
sun. Yes.
Yep. Yes. So I have all kinds of stuff. You guys know I have a D3 tanning light. I've never shown you this thing. I'll show it to you because it's just sitting next to me at my house because I had my mom using it today. Let me see if you guys can see it. Can you see that? Here, let me turn it on. I don't recommend buying it. It's $20,000. But it's called a pearl. And it's pretty wild. I have a whole book right here. It's frequency sets, and I can look up every single disease. And every disease has a frequency set, and I can put it in there. And then this thing is a plasma thing, and it blinks purple and makes sounds. but it was $20,000. And like today, my mom came over and I ran frequencies for like 6 hours. Like who's got 6 hours to sit around and do this stuff? Right. So the patch, again, single-handedly, hands down, the patches. I'll tell you the two things that have increased my mom. Patches for sure, number one. B1, adding B1, which controls your nerves. And then the third thing is definitely removing the oxalates. My mom is so much sharper. And we're not even done. I mean, we were only like 3 weeks in. So there was something with the crystals. Oxalates form crystals. There's something with the crystals being embedded in the brain. And so that's disrupting the flow of her like frequency, which makes sense when you say it out loud, right? Anyway, so that's a whole nother thing. I don't recommend buying one of these things because it's $20,000 and a patch is so much easier and works so much more effective. But the truth is, it's all frequencies. It's all, if I showed you my house, you guys would be like, trust me, the largest scientific experiment is my family. And we're working on all ways to get people healed and well because we believe in Jesus' name that God designed us to heal. And so we just got to get on the right voltage. But this is huge, guys. This is huge. All right. That's it. It really wasn't much of a business training. It was more of a personal development training for you guys. But hopefully you've got the 11-minute, 12-minute, 21-minute video. If you came on for business training tonight and say, what was that? That lady was wild. I am. You should watch the 21-minute video I have that explains all the ways of making money. It's only 21 minutes. And you can watch it again and again and again until you get it. Okay. That's it. May the Lord bless you, keep you, and shine his face upon you, be gracious to you all the days of your life. I'm only 13 minutes over. Hey, Debbie Martin, thank you so much. I'll be reaching out. Everybody give it up for Debbie Martin. Whoop, 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 whoop. My Debbie friend. Listen, I have the smartest friends. I hang out with the smartest people. Because if I don't know something, I just go to my friends. I'm like, they know it. They can do it. They got this covered. All right, have a great night, guys. And there's a whole new meeting to get lit. Get lit. That's what I'm saying. Get lit. I'm gonna get some t-shirts made. Have a good night. God bless you guys. See you Thursday.